What is Flash Boost? Shimano designed innovative Flash Boost technology. It keeps flashing, which attracts fish whether in a pause or while retrieving. The mirror plate, which is fixed by a spring inside the body, vibrates with the lure action to generate diffuse reflection. Even if you stop the lure action, the inner plate will move and continue to flash, giving the lure a sense of life and inviting a fish bite. This is Flash Boost.
Well, good evening, folks. How we doing this Monday afternoon, evening? Hope everybody had a great weekend. I tell you, this weather has been absolutely spectacular, especially if you like heat. But the fishing continues to be amazing. I've heard nothing but great things from Brad, who's told us from the store perspective. They're doing very, very, very well when it comes to sales. So the stores are doing well, and when the stores are doing well, it means you anglers are out doing your thing. And I'll tell you, I'm so thrilled to hear that because, you know, it's been sporadic. Like last year, we talked about the salmon and how incredible it was. The fishery was on Lake Ontario, especially. This year, it doesn't necessarily seem that they're getting the quantity, but the quality of fish. And Jay Barnucz has shared a couple posts already of some of the incredible catches that are being caught out on Lake Ontario. There was one, I think, that was just put in that was 35 pounds that Jay shared. I didn't get it uploaded, but there are some incredible catches that are being shared right now out on Lake Ontario. So if you are looking to book a charter, this is your year. Get out on Lake Ontario, get yourself a new PB, a new personal best, and as I said, spread some love, spread some money around to an industry that could use it. I don't want to say desperately, but let's face it, everybody's sort of taken it on a chin last couple of years, and it'd be nice to get everything back to the way it was and spending a little bit of money supporting those who are out there doing their thing each and every day, and the sacrifices they make in order to provide these charters and possibilities and opportunities is truly something that we should all reward in our own little way. Shane, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. Steve Shaw's in the house. Yeah, baby. Pete Leduc, how you doing, my friend? Always nice to see you. Tony's in the house as well. Good evening, Mark. Thanks again for joining us, my friend. Corey's with us as always. Nice to see you. Fernando, yeah, baby. I don't know what we got you away from, but I'm actually surprised you're not out fishing on this wonderful evening. What a beautiful evening it is here in Ontario. Seems a little cooler out west. I heard the four-letter word in some areas of Alberta. Can you believe that? Snow? Like, is that possible? How you doing, Nick? Always a pleasure to see you. Andrew, as always, my friend, thanks for joining us. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for tuning in. And, of course, our panel really appreciates it. There's lots of things to get to in regards to discussion when it comes to our panel, just to get through some of the important stuff that needs to be expressed to you folks. It is our 10th anniversary. And, of course, Richard Dunlop and my good buddy Walt are doing a fantastic job making sure you got some CFN swag on your backside and foreside. This, of course, is the CFN hoodie that our good buddy Richard Dunlop has done a fantastic job promoting, selling, organizing, even in a Canada Post crisis that's still going on, as everybody I'm sure knows. But if you're looking for a hat very similar to the one that I'm wearing, please reach out to this man, Richard Dunlop, and he will make sure to get whatever it is that you need. And of course, on the flip side, we have our 10th anniversary commemorative jersey. Once the 10 years is up, so come January 1st, 2026, these are no longer going to be available. It will be a new jersey. So these are a limited run, only good for this year. They will have the 10th anniversary emblem on it, the logo, as you can see on the just on the top. I guess it'd be your right breast, if you will, if for lack of a better way of explaining it. But that logo will not be available any other year except for this year. So if you are interested, please get a hold of me or Walter, and we will certainly point you in the right direction. CFN Fish Off. I was trying to get Mike on here tonight in hopes that we would be able to give away the early bird prize. I packed it all up last night and made sure that's available. We have it. We have some great prizes. And listen, this early bird prize, for anybody who is fishing the CFN Fish Off, there is just about anything and everything you could possibly want in that package. And I want to thank Ugly Boys Baits, Adrian's Custom Tackle, Pow Casting. What else is in there? There's a couple other things in there as well. But big shout out, thank you to our sponsors who continue to help provide some great stuff to our community. So as I said, we will stay tuned. I'm just not sure when Mike's going to be available, but as soon as Mike is available, we will make sure that we get that out to you folks ASAP. Eve, nice to see you as well, my friend. That's awesome, Andrew. Thanks so much for that. Really appreciate. Yes, I saw that, Eve. You got your jersey. Fantastic, bud. That's awesome. And you know what? I have to share this. That jersey, if you are in the province of Saskatchewan right now, you will be recognized. And how do I know this? Bruce Ugly Boys Downs was out there for about, I would say about a month, just recently returned. And he could not wait to tell me, Scotty, it was like I was like a rock star. Everywhere he went, he would get a beep of the horn. People would reach out to him and say, hey, how you doing, CFN, blah, blah, blah. So as I said, it's interesting to see not only the folks wearing them, but how many people recognize them. I think that's really, really cool. And another cool story was Erica. She was out, I forget where she was fishing. I think it was out at, she was out salmon fishing with Serena. And when they got back to the docks, there was a bunch of people that recognized her from the CFN Fish Off. So she became a little bit of a rock star. So it's really cool to see stuff like this and hear stuff like this happening to our CFNers. Very, very neat indeed. Well, I will say this. We won't get into, I've got a bunch of stuff that I want to share, but I think it's best to get right into it. So real quick, I will continue to fire through here. Anglers Atlas and My Catch App is the one thing where you have to go to sign up for the CFN Fish Off. So if you are interested in participating, go over to Anglers Atlas, get on the My Catch app, and you will see the CFN Fish Off there. And get yourself enrolled. Love to have you participate. I think we're over 200 anglers now. Also, this is fully booked August 10th to the 16th. To all those who are coming from CFN, you are going to have a wonderful time. Really looking forward to this. The fishing up there is hot, hot, hot. Incredible stuff. Now, if you want to get up there and you're not able to do it during the CFN retreat, please reach out to Warren and Doris. Get yourself booked at Horwood Lake Lodge. Get out there and experience the fishing that we do each and every year at our CFN Fish Off. But they are awaiting your call, so please reach out to them. Also, we have our North Channel Walleye Open happening September 19th to the 20th. This continues to grow, and we're very excited about that. But just before that happens, of course, we are going to be down in Kingston at it's a smaller version of the Made in Canada tackle show. We've got a bunch of our vendors that are going to be showing up and strutting their stuff in front of some really cool sticks. There's a lot happening down there, and my good buddy Moose wanted me to share this video just to spice things up a little. So have a listen.
If you win the $50,000, what would you spend it on?
What's up, Moose? If I were to win the $50,000, if I were to win the CISA Open on the St. Lawrence River, what would I do with it? Nothing in particular comes to mind, but once our bass season's done on the Elite Series, I'm going to do a lot of multi-species fishing, so definitely would put a lot of that money toward, traveling and things like that, lodging. And can't wait to fish for multi-species this coming fall. A bunch of cutesy critters, muskie, walleye, pike. Still going to catch some bass as well, but we're going to switch it up a little bit, do some saltwater fishing throughout the fall. And looking forward to the CISA Open. I heard it's going to be an epic event. There's a lot of people coming, and it's one of the biggest tournaments that's ever been held in Canada in the past several years. So we're all fired up about it. See you guys there.
August 29th to the 31st. As I said, the Made in Canada Tackle Show will be holding a very impromptu Expo. And if you are interested, if you're a vendor and you'd like to show up to this event, because there's going to be a number of people there, please get a hold of me, and I'll make sure you get a place on the lawn right in front of the stage, front and center, so that all the sticks can see what it is that you have to share with us. And of course, last but not least, it is Camp McIntosh time. We are so looking forward to this, as we always do. It is Monster Monday, and if you want to catch your personal best, or at least a chance to catch your personal best, this is a place that you want to get yourself booked, whether it's for our OFC Nation retreat or just on your own. As I said, Camp McIntosh, it doesn't disappoint. The fishing is always fantastic.
And there's a place that I've dreamed of, where I can free my mind. I hear the sounds of the season and lose all sense of time. Feels like we're in a dream, you know what I mean.
I sure do. So please, as I said, reach out to Andre and Tracy. Get yourself booked. As I said, if it's not for the OFC Nation retreat, get up there in a time that you want to go, and we'll find out together what they have for availability. But I know it's been a busy season so far, but as I said, they still have room. So make sure you get in touch with them. We got Big Jim coming up right after his intro.
When he was born, he tried to reel in the umbilical cord. Bass named him as their personal best. His power pole came with a stripper. Forward-facing sonar uses him to find fish. Chuck Norris is his co-angler. He is the most interesting fisherman in the world. Stay fishing, my friends.
There he is, the one and only, the big man himself, Big Jim McLaughlin.
Yo.
How you doing, brother?
I'm feeling particularly old today.
Now, why is that?
I've just been running around with the grandkids and
Yes.
driving them to here, driving them there, doing this, doing that.
How are your Uber activities? You still have some to contend with later on?
Yeah, I might have to go back to Brockville another hour each way.
Wow.
It is.
Wow.
You got to do it, buddy.
Absolutely. So we'll get through you as quick as we can, but there's a lot of things that we wanted to talk about, mention, and bring to light. One of which is this tool that you had brought to my attention. I think I saw it just before you had sent it. What I didn't realize is it came out in iCast last year.
I didn't either.
I didn't even see it or hear
It got
about it.
zero press.
Yep.
This year somebody went and looked at it. And
True enough. And I'll tell you this, the tool sells itself. For anybody who's had a hook caught anywhere in their body. Jim, where's the worst place you've had a hook? You mentioned it just before we went live.
I had about a 46, 48-inch muskie shore fishing in my ankle. And my buddy's trying to beat it with a stick, and I'm yelling at him, "Don't you dare hit it. I wouldn't even kill it, eh?" We eventually got it off. I was, it was, to say the least, a bit wounded. I still had the scars. It tore me up really good. But yeah, I've had there. I had one in guiding in the back of my ear with a jig. The guy came around with the jig, and it got it right in the back of my ear and the gristle. It's right up against my skull. And you heard the line was mono, and it went off like a 22 shot. And he's standing there looking at me going, "Where the hell did the jig go?" And they go like this to him. Wow. That's in the back of my head. And I'm like kind of goofy. And then Rocky got me with a crankbait one day in the back of the head, the big DB3s we used to use.
Yes, yep.
And I actually took a knee and looked down. Back of the head, don't like to laugh.
That's so funny. I took a knee.
I took a knee, and you know at the end of Coochaching, the bowling alley, all the marker buoys?
Yes, yeah.
We were out on a patch of weed I'd found out in the main lake, but right in line with them. And I went down on one knee, and I looked around, and he's got that big sheepish grin on his face. And he looks at me, and he goes, "Are you okay?" And I go, "I think so." And I looked down the lake, and I looked down in the marker buoys. It just went like this. They narrowed in as they would anyway at a distance, and it went poof like the TV used to, and it went black
Oh wow.
for about 2 or 3 seconds, and then I sort of came to again. Yeah, I've had a few good ones. I had one on my arm in the classic that they had in Kingston. A 4-aught worm hook buried. It looked like a pencil line on my arm. That's how deep it was.
Wow.
So there was no pushing it through, but we managed to get it out. We didn't know about the line thing. We just sort of had to we got the box cutter out and went to work on my arm.
Well, this tool would have come in handy in all of those situations. And as you
I
said,
sent a message to him and asked him to come on with us.
oh, fantastic! Because I will say, this tool, I'm actually surprised it's taken this long to come up with something. And I think you mentioned it too, Jim. Great tool. Have a look.
Split of the head of the tool over top of the shaft of the hook and pull it right out.
Oh my gosh, wow. That's way better than the string method.
That's way better.
Let's be honest, the last time the string method was tried on me, Eric pulled 4 times, so I didn't even feel that.
No, you didn't.
No, I did
and
not.
That's what people have such a hard time understanding, that it does not hurt.
And I mean, look, there's not even any blood.
I work in a hospital.
That's why that was amazing, to be honest. I don't know.
This is the D-hooker. It's not your traditional D-hooker for D-hooking fish.
Bro,
it's for those emergency situations where you need to get the hook out.
That was amazing.
Captain
That's
Mike,
why I'm here.
Mike Pisano from D-Hooker. Keep an eye out on this. Search it online, but I'm sure we're going to see more of these. Hopefully you don't have to see too many of these in the future. Thank you so much.
Don't wait till you need one. Have one when you need it.
Good advice.
He does that right. He'll get one he'll get a dozen in every hospital in North America.
Exactly.
Do you ever go in a hospital emergency and they have those boards with all the things they've picked out of people?
Yep.
At the Civic in Ottawa, I had 2 at one point. I wish they would have had one of those.
So the interesting part of how the tool works is you're able to put downward pressure as you're pulling out so that the barb doesn't grab.
Well, when you pull a hook out with the braid, you don't know it's out. You don't know it's out. You do not feel it. There's no pain. And I mean, you don't have any pain when the hook goes in either, because 9 times out of 10, it happens so fast you don't realize it's happened,
Right.
And it's one of those things, But taking it out like that with the line, I heard that guy say it took 4 times with the line. The person doing it didn't know how to do it then.
I would agree.
I've done that 6, maybe 7 times in my life, and it's first pull every time from the first time.
What I'm amazed at is people had no problem putting the hooks in to do demonstrations.
Yeah, we did that once to show it at the show. I let a guy used to look at my arm.
There's actually quite a few videos. So folks, if you are interested in the D-hooker, by all means, go on YouTube and have a look. But I would say that was a video from last year. That's where it got introduced in iCast. It's back there again this year. And I say there's a buzz about it. The videos that they've done have done a fantastic job to promote it. That was the only thing that we noticed between.
He's got that rubber arm that he was using this year because it's, I guess they use it for training in the hospital, and it's the texture apparently is pretty close to the same. It's to teach you to give needles and stuff like that, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's quite intensive. The amount of times he sticks that hook back in that dummy's hand and pulls it out like.
And the dummy doesn't say a word. He's tough as nails.
It's a good thing, man. I'll tell you, because we'd be deaf from all the screaming if it was if we could hear them.
And it looks like the kind of thing. I mean, even with the line, as long as you wrap it around your hand a couple of times, it's the first time every time. But you got to be pushing down on the eye of the hook, and that's what that thing does. You see it lift it up, and it does everything for you. So it'll work. Yeah.
Small enough to have in your toolbox or a knapsack or even your pocket, maybe on your utility belt. It's one of those things that's a must-have. If you've ever had to take a hook out of somebody's hand when you've been out fishing, I'm sure all of us have. This
Am I ever lucky? I almost said it. Oh.
Well,
what happens when you say something hasn't happened for a long time?
Oh, true. Yeah. True enough. Yes.
Oh, I caught myself. Yikes. And I was changing a bunch of crankbaits, putting BKK hooks on the other day. And I was using 2 pairs of pliers to make sure I didn't get myself, because some of them, like, the split rings they were tempered steel, and they were so hard I just couldn't get them apart. So you got to do it with pressure. But if you're holding it and you do it with pressure, if the wrong part slips,
Yes, absolutely. Steve, great comment. Yes, great tool for guides.
Exactly. Yeah.
100%. 100%. So there was a bunch of new things that were unveiled from our good folks at Shimano, as well as a bunch of others. And the Tackle Warehouse did a fantastic job going over them briefly. They have a longer video where they go into great description of each of the products. But I'll tell you, if you want to know what's going on in ICAST and all the new products that are available, have a listen to these boys.
As 2025 Tackle Warehouse and Tactical Bassin, Tim and Matt. And in 3 minutes or less, this is the rundown. Make sure you head over to YouTube for our full-length breakdown of everything that Matt and Tim love at ICAST 2025. Jake, go!
All right, Daiwa Coastal 200, Daiwa Luvius spinning reel, Shimano Corrado 150, Mega Blast, Blowly, Nichols Dust Spoon 2.0, 8-inch trick shad, missile bait, eye roll jig, Freedom Flyer, and new Planos.
All right, from Shimano, we have X-Sense, we have Sustain and Noski spinning reels. We have a brand new Corrado 150M. From VMC, the new Minnow Shaker jig heads. Pairs perfectly with new sizes of the Freeloader from Crush City. Great Lakes Finesse, brand new little craws and heads, perfectly fits with them. Duo, crazy looking new bait. Make sure you hear what Matt has to say all about that. Rapala, Claptail, crazy, and Big Bite Sensation, fuzzy little nub in there.
From 7 Reels, the new GX reel, we got new colors, Karashi and Giant Dog X. We got Yamamoto fuzzy baits, the fuzzy nut, the fuzzy nuki, the fuzzy Cinco, a couple different sizes, the micro Juvie Craw from Great Lakes Finesse, and full tungsten from Dirty Jigs Tackle.
We got that Daiwa Aired 80, the Chatterbait Micro Max, the Swag LT swim baits from Yamamoto. We've got that Hinge Minnow, X-Zone, we've got the Rally Shad, the Fuzzy Bugs, the Uni, and last but not least, from Busby. Back to you.
That wraps it up. Make sure to go check out the full video on YouTube.
Nice job, guys.
High five.
Those could be Tactical Bassin. They have some incredible videos. They do some really good stuff. They really enlighten you on tackle.
I will say this, the full-length video, they go into great detail. So if there was anything there that caught your attention, head on over to Tackle Warehouse and make sure that you watch the video because, as I said, they go into great detail. But I see a bit of a trend with all these new products, Jim, and I need you to tell me, what is it with this fuzziness? Like everything seems to have.
It's one of those things that came out of Japan. And it's so funny because I saw a meme on Facebook the other day, and it had a bass after ICAST. The bass is swimming along, and there's 5,000 fuzzy dice type things falling on top of him, like coming down real slow in the water, all superimposed in. And he's like,
"Wow,
which one to eat?" Eh? But I got them here.
They're a thing.
Well, I got the boat home, so I'll be able to get out and go use this stuff.
I'm not 100% sure what exactly it is that they are supposed to replicate, but obviously it's a creature, it's a bug of some sort, whether it's a larvae hatch, mayfly, who knows?
40 years ago, Dan Gapin had the ugly bug.
Yep,
it's exactly the same thing. Like you talk about this all the time about the way things get recycled. I had here, I'll show you. Hang on. I'm not leaving you, Scotty. I still love you.
I can post this comment now, Tony, that he's not looking. Too funny. How you doing, Joe? Nice to see you, my friend. Always a pleasure to have you, as well as the entire French River clan, whether it's yourself, the wife, your kids, Adrian, a whole bunch of you. Thanks so much for joining us as you do all the time.
I had to go to the dice department.
I was going to say, did you pack a lunch?
Hey, easy. Do I look like I need a lunch?
Oh, as if I would judge.
I was at the Ottawa show this year. This young lad from Big River Baits in New Brunswick came up to me, and he was at the show, and he showed me his line of stuff. So there's his, which are kind of, they're kind of different. But then he had some other ones. He had little ones here, which are just like some of the stuff that they've shown. And this here is something that just really caught my eye. That just looked cool.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I will probably fish with this before the year's out.
That's like that would be great for a Ned Head presentation, no?
It's kind of small, but you could use it for it.
Okay.
But the ones that I sort of got my eye caught on here are Q bombs, and they are from I don't even know G Crack, and these are the ones that caught my eye.
Wow.
And they fished them. Some guys put them on a light Ned. There's guys they drop shot them. They do all kinds of stuff with it. I'd be looking to use like a very light wacky hook, and just toss this weightless and let it do its thing. But they're not cheap, eh? Like I bought 3 or 4 packs of them here over at Tight Lines, and they're like, there's 4 of them in the pack.
What does it cost for a pack, Jim?
What's that?
What does it cost for a pack? Oh, you're not kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've
fished with creature baits, but I don't know.
I picked up 3 different colors. That one looked kind of cool too. But it's just something else. You always got to try it that's out there. You got to give it a go. Just like I found something else to tie marabou on. I was looking through some stuff the other day, and I found them. I'll have to get them painted and that. But look at these little tidbits. They're like little scrounger heads. They wiggle like a chatterbait type thing.
Yeah.
But imagine putting some marabou on that. Put a little split ring up front there to give it some more.
I know a guy. If you need any marabou done, I know a guy.
I had 3 guys here yesterday.
Yeah.
Up until like 9:30 last night, picking up marabou for the Thousand Islands Open.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Jeez, I tell you, I don't know when you sleep. Bill's asking, it's a good question to ask. Are those cubes, those creature baits, would they be primarily for bass, or would you see pike?
Oh, walleye eat that in a second. Yeah. Those little ones that kid down east made, these little ones here, crappie'd eat that all the way on a little 16-ounce jig head.
Yeah.
Under a bobber, he'd eat that all the way. But that's what I was saying there a while ago about Dan Gapin.
Mm-hmm.
He used to make the ugly bugs, which was a flat little funny little jig head with. He was an old river rat scrounge type guy. Eh? We had him come to a seminar in Ottawa once, and we got like 75 people back then for a seminar.
Wow.
Like his name was very, very well known. We did it at the Recreational Association, the RE Center by Bronson Street Bridge there by Carlton U in Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
And, we had the big hall. We had 75 people came out. I don't know, it was like $5 to get in. But it was a long time ago. But man, oh man, Dan Gapin was a river rat supreme, and everything that he made had little rubber legs sticking out of it, like little bits of live rubber.
Yeah.
Sticking out of it. And they have another one. I think it's Z-Man has one that's molded, and it's like a circle in the middle, and it's got about 25 molded legs every direction. Comes in a box that's about this square, and it's somehow suspended in the middle of the box. Not a good idea for retailing because of the space it'll take up, but they have to keep it like that so the legs don't get kinks, and it has to stay in that shape, eh? But there's so many different things out there. Senko brand, Gary Yamamoto, he's got I think 3 or 4 different things that he has out there this year that came out with rubber on them. It's a phenomenon, eh?
Yeah. No, 100%.
Somebody caught a bunch of fish with it there, and the way they go, it's just the way it works.
Can't see it as a confidence bait for me, but I don't want to judge too early. It's just not something that I typically fish with. But hey, I'll try anything. I'm like every other.
If you're going smallmouth fishing in Lake Ontario,
yeah,
You're going to catch as many fish with that as you're going to catch with any other plastic drop shot.
Awesome. Good to know.
Maybe even more now because, I hate to buy into the old, well, they've seen so many worms or whatever. But it's just something different. It seems to be working. I mean, guys are catching fish with it. There was a guy did a video the other day. He went down somewhere in this place and he's got the camera on it and he's talking, and I forget what company it was. It was like just a small company. The guy said the guy bought a mold to make square baits, and he, uses the old darning needle and sticks 3 or 4 pieces through from every direction he can get the needle through. Sticks the hook in it, chucks it out in the lake, and catches a 4.5 pound smallmouth while everybody's standing around watching. So,
And Pandemic, I didn't even know there was a company called Pandemic Plastics is doing this with. That's awesome. Great name, by the way. Great name, Pandemic Plastics.
This stuff here, this young lad, I forget his name, but he makes everything in it. He does it all himself. It's all from New Brunswick, and he's got it all covered too, not just with the dice,
mm-hmm.
with the little tidbits. I mean, you imagine that on a little 8-ounce jig head.
Lights out. Yep, lights out.
They're all over it. See, when they came out at first, the dice phenomenon, I mean, that's what they looked like.
Yes.
And I think you've sort of lost this now. That look, it's like the fishing industry grabs something and it just immediately perfects it, eh? So,
true enough. Speaking of perfection, our good friends over at Shimano, there's a bunch of things that they've touched on and revamped, certainly improved. What's the one product, Jim, that stands out amongst all the Shimano introductions at ICAST for you?
To me, the 150 Curado.
Yeah,
because it's new, the size and everything. It's the flagship bait casting reel. It's all there is to it. I don't think nothing will surpass it in my lifetime or your lifetime. I don't believe anyway. They'd have to come up with something pretty special.
Yeah.
I think there are other reels that we can do different things with and do them better perhaps. But man, when it comes to just like buying a reel and having it, I mean, when you see the number of guys in the States that aren't sponsored, and like I've told you this many times before, they got Curados on the deck. Yeah, they have original green ones. Steve Kennedy fishes in the elites. He's got 10 rods and reels on the deck, and they're all old green Curados.
That's wild.
Gets them reserviced. They change the gear here and there because these things get used. You got to remember, these guys use this stuff, 250 days a year.
Yeah.
And most people can't fathom that. That would be a lifetime of fishing for the average guy, probably.
It's so
well, really, it is.
It's so true. That is so
5
true.
times a year. That's 25 whole days a year. That's 10 years worth of fishing that they do every year.
100%.
And I mean, it's not just that; it's the amount of fish that are on the end of them too. There's a huge difference there from the average guy.
Yeah, true enough. Well, I don't want to keep you too long because I know you got to get going. But what have you got upcoming this week?
Just working on promoting the paper. Thursday is the big day for me. I get to go to the pain clinic in Kingston eventually. So I'll get one side of my spine done, and then the following on the 31st they do the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just fingers crossed because this is not funny anymore.
No,
it's not funny anymore. Even I can't joke about it as much anymore. And I bought all the stuff for the gym. The living room is a gym now.
Mm-hmm.
I bought all the cushions and the weights. I bought everything I need for it. And I keep using it. I think I'm going to keep my membership at the gym down the street, though. As soon as I get the pain clinic done, then I'm going to go back to it because I want to use the leg press and do the rowing and stuff like that. Because I think rowing is just a tremendous exercise for your body.
Yeah.
And I think I need it, and I want to really work at strengthening my legs up again because it's a few months I just haven't been paying as much attention as I should.
You've been busy.
A lot of stuff, and I'm active, but I just I'm not at it like I used to be.
Yeah, you've been busy, dude. You've been busy.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's true. Like I told you about going down there every day.
Yeah,
it's a 3 to 4 hour investment daily when you start. Boom, that's gone out of your day. Plus, was $100 a week in gas. So, $4,000 or $5,000 a year in gas.
And of course, I'm sure you and Tammy are taking a bit of a breather now that the latest edition of Just Fishing is uploaded and ready.
It's all up. Yeah, she's taking a little bit of time to herself. She just gets tired so easy, though.
Yeah.
So, but she started sending me houses to look at again. So maybe I think she's realizing that this house is, well, you know how big it is.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you could be sitting in the living room and you forget, geez, you know, did I lock the back door? So you got to walk out and check, you know, because one of these things, you know, some dickhead's going to try to walk in the office and help himself, you know.
Yeah, true enough.
Just hopes I'm not around with the bat.
Yeah.
I may not be as good standing up anymore, but I'll tell you one thing: you don't want me coming after you with the bat sitting in this chair.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And on that note, we will leave you because we don't want you to start swinging. Good luck with your Uber activities tonight. Hopefully, everybody gets home safely, including yourself.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
We will see you next Monday, my friend.
It's all good. Be safe out there, people. Catch some big fish, eh?
Amen.
And go share the post on Just Fishing Around.
Amen.
Stop slacking. I know where you live. I know where you come to the CFN on Monday night.
We got Lawrence coming up right after a word from our sponsor. Take care, bud. There he is, Lawrence. Gunther, how you doing?
Good, buddy.
We missed you last week, but I will say you've got lots to talk about. But before we get to any of that, let's have an update because I'm really excited to share this with the rest of our community, where we're at, what the status is of this incredible, I don't even know what you call research center, great place to go, outreach. Like there's a bunch of terms that I would use, but where are you at?
Oh yeah, we just put the stakes in the ground. So the next Amish shed is arriving this week. It's going to be a 10-foot by 12-foot kitchen. So it'll have a 4-burner gas stove in there, a propane griddle, a propane freezer, no dishwasher, but a sink with hot and cold running water. And just a good old kitchen with upper and lower cupboards. Thank you, IKEA. And we'll be able to cook for up to 20 people. And that shed's coming this week on the same tow truck as our second wheelchair accessible outhouse. This one's going to be 6 feet by 8 feet. So that's our new wheelchair accessible outhouse, and that'll be showing up as well. So getting that pit dug, that was the challenge. You know, you're going to put an outhouse, you might as well make it worthwhile, right? You got to go down.
Is there enough earth up there, or is it all rock? Like, how far down do you hit bedrock?
I haven't hit it yet. It's all sand.
Good.
Sand. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, we're looking forward to seeing some of the pictures, some of the updates, and we will share them with our community. But I know you folks have been hard at work building this, and we missed you last week, but you're here this week, and some really cool news that you're going to be sharing in regards to folks who love to fish the Ottawa River. You've got some learning sessions that are now available or becoming available that you'd like to talk to and basically just let us know about tonight.
Well, I think I've mentioned this before, the Bluefish Explorer. It's a 24-foot long tri-tune. You know, it's got the center sponson. You can put 11 people on there. It's got 150 horse Mercury on it. Put a Lowrance 16 at the helm and a couple Lowrance 12s, HD 12s. Got all these off secondhand. And so there's lots of fish finders, down imaging, side imaging. But, you know, we call it the reverse aquarium, right? You go into the aquarium and then you look out and you see fish in their natural habitat. But it's not like whale watching where the fish are just going to jump. And we want to teach kids about the fish, and we want to teach kids about the habitat. And we're doing this right downtown Ottawa, like right behind Parliament Hill. From our launch, you can see directly across to the Chateau Laurier, the canal, the Parliament buildings, the National Gallery Canada, the Canadian Mint. It's all just across the river from us. And, we've mapped out that river for our route, and we're creating some points of interest and some stopping points. And to make it more interactive, believe it or not, we're bringing some tablets along with us, and those tablets will be preloaded with some very short 3-minute sort of guest video appearances of guests we've taken out on the river, experts, and we've stopped at the point that they're going to talk about, and they're going to talk about what's going on in this river from their expertise and their experience and their knowledge. And then there'll be a little quiz, a little pop-up quiz that comes up after that, just to hammer home the learnings. And I'm just want to, just roll those ideas by, like the interstitials we've chosen so far, and the guests and the topics to cover so far, and then see if the listeners maybe have some ideas. You can either speak up now in your comments, or send me an email at bluefishcan@gmail.com, bluefishcan@gmail.com. So yeah, that's that I want to use your guys as some stake, do a little consultation, buddy, a little focus group tested.
That's cool. And who are some of the celebrities that you've managed to corral with this and task with some of these learning sessions?
Well, I pulled in some favors, and we went out with Rob Jackson in his long-nosed gar warrior Lund. I think he's had that boat for over 20 years.
Wow.
Like he's sponsored by Lund, and he gets a new Lund every year that takes people muskie fishing and bass fishing. But this gar boat, and he's got it all decaled that looks like a gar with the scales on the side of the boat. And hang on, I'll just put that up. And so he's got that. We went out in that boat with him, and we spent an hour and a half out there. He tied into about 20 different gar. Some were over 50 inches.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, just amazing. And it was all caught on camera. And he's talking to us about gar, where they live, why they live there, what they look like, what they eat, the whole, it's just amazing wealth of knowledge. And he was the Ontario long-nosed gar record holder for a while.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was
on that river. And
he's got a lot of claims to fame, but that is definitely the one that is the elite. Having that distinction is quite something.
Yeah, it is. It is. He's just quite a character. It just, he's a character and a half, man. I tell you love spending time with him. He's always a little controversial, a lot of fun, super interesting. But you know what? He's a hardcore guide, and he knows that river, and he knows those fish. And 100%. So I thought that's a fish not too many people know about, right? Yet they're everywhere, absolutely everywhere on that river.
True enough. And I do believe you've employed the services of Lisa Goodyear.
That's it.
In regards to muskie.
Apex predator, the number one, right? And so yeah, she's got some great video that we borrowed from, and we, as well as her on the boat and talking about her career and the muskie and how she pursues them, and we'll share some of the bigger double jointed plugs. We'll take all the hooks a bit and pass those around to the kids and let them feel of what kind of baits muskie hit on the water. We're not going to fish for muskie, with a boatload of kids. We don't have time, but definitely they're going to see muskie in that video, and we're going to be right there where Lisa caught them. So and then we'll go into the bay, this one bay where I've caught muskie, right downtown Ottawa, and we'll just we'll do some video searching to see what we can see. And I think even if the kids don't see muskie on the sonar, they'll get a good idea of where the muskie live, right? Mm-hmm. And the habitat, the weeds, the sticks, the stones, the stumps, the logs, all that stuff, cool. Right? Yeah. So that's two of them. That's two of our very fishy interstitials.
Who else have you got?
Well, there's someone you probably haven't heard of, and that is Jill Harma. And she is a worldwide renowned scuba diver, and she specializes in cave diving. Now, she's dived under glaciers. She's dived in every continent on the earth. She's lost over 100 friends to cave diving accidents. Some, as she was actually diving with them, and they would get into conflicts on which way out. And, when you're down and you're running out of your mix of oxygen and nitrogen and all the other weird gases they breathe hundreds and hundreds of feet below the surface, kilometers inside these caves, and your dive friend thinks you're going the wrong way. What do you do? Right? What do you do?
You
At
panic.
some point, you
panic.
There's only when they're panicking, they're refusing to go with you, and you're going the right way, and you got the string, but there's another string, and they want to go the other way. How do you convince them without getting into a physical fight? And you try to, but they're at that point they're getting, they think you're trying to kill them. So she's had to leave people behind.
Okay.
And
well, I have to say, listen, if you sign up for a cave dive, I would hope that it's not your first time.
Oh no.
But if it is,
they wouldn't let you.
If it is for whatever reason your first time, I can totally understand that would be your reaction. I myself, not a freaking chance would I go down in the water through a cave for anything. I wouldn't care if there was a pot of gold at the end of it. There's not a chance, because before I get to the pot of gold, my heart would explode, because claustrophobia in the water is just not a great experience. And anybody who has it like I do, it's sheer panic. So you can tug. If you're tugging the rope, make sure it's around my neck, because I don't want to go. I just want to be done right there. That's all I can say.
Well, she's been in she's spent 4 days in a decompression chamber in Mexico, and they told her she could never scuba dive again. Well, it hasn't stopped her. She's still diving, and now she lives just outside Ottawa. Last year she was the official honorary river keeper, and she's dived the over 10 kilometers of underwater caves that crisscross the bottom of the Ottawa River. And she showed us where the opening of the cave is. It's like a little pond, and you can see one pond there's water gushing out, another pond there's, she says that's in, that's out. And she said she said got to know when you're getting sucked in. It's like there's current. It's a river, so the caves have current. She said sometimes it's so strong you can't swim back up. You got to know there's current. So the current's coming out somewhere, right? So she goes in and she comes out the other end.
Forget it. Like, no, not a freaking chance.
So she's our guest. I shook her hand, and I'm thinking, I'm shaking the hand of the Black Widow. This is
no kidding. No kidding. Like, how many lives has she got left of the 9? Like 2 maybe? But 3 days. 3 days in a decompression. Wow. You talk about dedication. And then to be told by doctors that never to do it again.
Never do. Yeah.
And she's still doing it. Dude, I'm with you, man. Like, my heart's it's accelerating as we speak about.
But what she's seen down there with the life, how where the larvae of insects live, where the mussels live, where the mussels, latch on to fish's gills, and there's one fish that it'll suck in the baby larva of the mussels, and then it has a little lure in the front of its mouth, and it opens its mouth, and another fish will come up and try to snap at the lure, and just as it opens its mouth, the fish will blow the baby larva into the mouth of the fish, and then the baby larvae get lodged into the gills of the other fish, and then the other fish swims away. And that's how these mussels expand their range. That's how they get around. They don't walk. They have no way. They can't walk, right? But they need to get to other places. And they do it by latching onto the gills of fish and just, dropping off at some point. When they get big enough, they just drop off, and voila, new territory. So she's mapping all this, discovering all this, where sturgeon and smallmouth bass and catfish of all types live down there in these caves. So that's pretty fascinating stuff. So that we got her, and a lot of great underwater footage that she's provided us. That's 3, right? That's 3. We talked to Meredith Brown. She was the Ottawa River keeper and advocated for many years to stop the release of raw sewage into the Ottawa River from the city of Ottawa. And they spent $250 million to build a system of pipes and underground containers that now capture the overflow during flood events, so that it doesn't have to go into the river, just to hang on to it until the river rains over, the flood's over, whatever. And then it can be pumped back into the sewage treatment facility and processed properly. So we got her, and we're looking right there at the bottom of at the back of the Parliament Hill, right at the base of the river, where one of these 3-kilometer long tubes is buried that captures the sewage coming out of the Parliament.
Yeah, Lord.
So that's another one.
Wow.
That's another one. Yeah.
Unreal. Well, I look forward to hearing and seeing this when it all comes together. But definitely
come on the boat. You come on the boat, buddy, and we'll take you for the tour.
Heavy hitters there, that's for darn sure.
Yeah, we've got Kat Kavanaugh, the founder of Water Rangers, and we're providing her test kits. We've been using her test kits, so we're doing water quality testing with the young'uns, and then I'll be talking about the fishing. So we'll be doing some fishing, some drop shotting, and no casting. You can't have 6, 7, 8 people casting on a pontoon, right?
Well, you can, because they have a new tool to get the hooks out.
Safety goggles, the ear muffs, and one of those, and a bunch of those tools, and
a bunch of those tools and helmets and everything else.
We got a wonderful friend of mine, Claudette Commanda. She'll be she's an Algonquin Ojibwe Algonquin First Nations person, and she'll be talking about how, just right here in Ottawa, you got the Rideau River and the Gatineau River and the Ottawa River. They all meet at more or less the same spot. Mm-hmm. So in terms of transportation and a gathering point, right, this is where Indigenous people would come and trade and, meet and cheer and celebrate. And it was a very powerful place for gathering. So we talk about that, and as we pull into just below the Rideau Falls and snug up to the base of the falls and have all that mist washing over the people on the board, that's quite fun.
Wow, this is cool. I tell you. And when do you think you'll have it all put together?
We're going to have it done and ready to go this year, and all tested out. We've got them. It's all mapped out. It's all timed. We're doing the interstitials now. We're getting all the certifications. There's a lot of Transport Canada regulations that we have to go through. That's like fighting our way through chocolate milk. It's just it's not clear, but we're working our way through it. We got some great helpers, and just we spent a whole day just traveling around and visiting different docks, different NCC docks. No too high, no too low, because we have a wheelchair accessible gate, and we want to be able to have people with wheelchairs can roll on, roll off, right? And the rowing club too low, the other tours boat docks too high, but it turns out the aqua taxi dock on each side of the river, perfect. So hello, Aqua Taxi.
That's brilliant. That is so cool. Well, look forward to seeing this when it finally gets up and running. But the journey, I'm sure, has been just as exciting for you as I'm sure we can see with your expression how proud you are and excited that the unveiling of this is going to be something spectacular. So we do look forward to that.
Oh, me too. And there's a lot of people thought I was nuts doing this. And but our center is 2.5 hours north of Ottawa. No, we're never going to get any important people to go up there and just come up for a little drive and down those logging roads. So this is a great way to draw some attention to what we're doing up there and raise a little cash to help pay for the center, so we can support vulnerable and other kids maybe that are disadvantaged to come up to the center as well, right? Because not everyone can afford to do this type of stuff, and we want to be able to make sure everyone has the opportunity to go.
Well, you know what, providing this kind of opportunity is truly something that we admire, Lawrence, and a huge undertaking for anyone, but especially someone like yourself who is already dealing with the inability to see things clearly. Really, it's admirable, to say the absolute least. So if there's any way we could possibly pump the tires or help out, by all means, don't hesitate to ask, because This is really cool.
Well, when we're hit the launch button, we'll definitely get the CFN. You guys will get first crack at the information and some of the swag, and definitely you guys are our huge allies. So get you guys fully aware of what's going on and some behind the scenes and some discounts to when you come to Ottawa to do this. You know, you won't regret it. It's a beautiful boat. It's a beautiful ride. You know, there's a lot of tour boats downtown Ottawa, and they're all, you know, pointing at the same buildings and talking about the same history. We're looking down. We're looking down, and we're saying, you know, one other city in the world has a river going right through the middle of it. Capital city, and you know, where there's 83 different species of wild fish living in the river and doing great. Even in the Rideau Canal. One of our guests, he's an expert in dams. There's over 20 dams on the Ottawa River, and he's a fish researcher at Carleton University, specializing in muskie and pike. He's done a lot of research on the Rideau Canal, just from the Ottawa River on up to Dow's Lake. He's counted. They've tagged over 40 muskie that are over 40 inches long that live in that part of the canal year round. And he said he said there's walleye in the Rideau Canal and Dow's Lake. He said he would not hesitate eating those walleye. Right in the heart of the city, right in that canal.
I would concur. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, why not? But I just think it's so cool that you have that kind of fishery so close and adjacent to such a large town like Ottawa, and the infrastructure that depends on that river still has a bountiful fishery that you're suggesting. That's amazing.
One of our fishing stops is in Governor's Bay, and if you look up onto the cliff just above you, about 30 feet up, there's the 24 Sussex, the old residence of the Prime Minister, right there, right on the point.
Speaking of prime ministers, and not to get too political, we saw the horrific floods down in Texas. A lot of fingers were pointed in the direction of Mr. Trump because there was a bunch of people that he inadvertently or directly laid off at NOAA, so that they didn't get the kind of early warning notice that they should have. Although there were certain people that were suggesting that you were going to get this kind of rain directly right away. All fingers were being pointed at NOAA. Why didn't you predict this? Why didn't you tell us about this? And I think the response was, well, there's nobody left. Like you got rid of so many people. So it brings me to my next question, because we saw a whole bunch of people getting escorted out of the State Department building today as well. I'm concerned, and for a number of reasons, but let's just talk about fishing and fish and water. With all of these layoffs, with all these trimming of the fat, whatever you want to call it, what's going to be at stake? Is it something that we need to be concerned immediately, or are we not going to sort of see the ramifications of all this until the very end?
Well, look, last January, we put out a call for volunteers, ice fishers on the Great Lakes, to report ice levels and ice in, ice out, right? And this is all valuable data that's being collected by the NOAA and to study impacts of climate change on lake temperatures, on weather patterns, on, freeze and thaw cycles, and to document these changes over years, right? Over years. If you don't measure it every year at multiple points and do this routinely, how are you supposed to know if it's changing or not, right? Well, this has to do with climate change, and that got cut. Right? Anything that has to do with climate, there's no climate change according to Donald Trump. There's no climate change, so that's going. All that got cut. So this sort of stuff, one of the interstitials we do on the boat, with Professor Sean Landsman, is we talk about extreme weather and how that impacts fish habitat and spawning and timing of spawning and spawning locations. And we go up to, there's 5 bridges that connect Ottawa to the Quebec side. And one of those bridges is a little lower than the other bridges. And during the 2019 flood, they closed that bridge because the water was so high. It was almost touching the deck, almost touching. And if it had touched the deck, the bridge would have been swept away. And we have some footage video footage of the river flowing under that bridge, right? And you can see it. It's like a half a foot away from touching the bottom of the bridge.
Really?
And we go right up to that bridge in the Explorer, and you can see with your own eyes the distance between the river now and the bottom of that bridge. And then you see the video, and you just can go, holy crap, that's a big difference. That's a big difference. And we can't moderate that with dams. We think we can control water levels with dams. We got this power, this engineering power, and we can do with it. Not really, right? It's not, maybe we could, but no, we're just showing that we really can't. It's beyond us. And it's increasingly so as we have more and more extreme weather that we're sort of losing the battle in many ways, and we've got to find more natural ways of mitigating these risks. We're not going to stop it, but we got to sort of learn to live with it. And that Texas, right? I mean, they were building cabins at those summer camps every year. They were getting more and more building permits to build more and more cabins right up next to the river, and they know it's a floodplain, but they've never had that big of a flood. Right.
Well, they have had it once before that was noted, and that I guess for me that was the surprising news.
They've had a couple.
They've had a couple in the same area. So to Corey's point, every once in a while you get these extreme storms, and it doesn't matter where they happen, and it is a reality of what's going on in life in general. But as I said,
they're getting more extreme. The weather is getting more extreme, and it's happened like 2017, 2019, and 2023. We've had floods on the Ottawa River, and 2019 and 2017 were the biggest. So and who I'm not going to say it's going to happen every year. Some look right now, the levels on the Great Lakes are quite low. So go figure, right? Go figure. And that seems to be a big problem too. Is less snowpack. And so there's less snow melt, and the Great Lakes aren't getting charged up the way they should. So this spring was one of the lowest levels on record in terms of the Great Lakes.
Oh, really? I thought it was. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought we were actually on par. I do remember being shown when we were up in the French River when we went up in June, how high it was in the springtime.
Yeah.
Because you could see the watermark on the rock.
Yeah.
That's
French River, but in terms of the Great Lakes as a whole, it's been the coldest in 30 years for this spring, and it's been the lowest in even longer than that. The Great Lakes water levels, and then cold. I had some friends that were camping at Sandbanks, Picton, right down there in Lake Ontario with the beautiful beaches. And the alewife were just in the phase, their annual spring die-off. They're 4 weeks behind. The algae blooms that were blowing in, they're 4 weeks behind. So now you got a 5-inch thick mat of dead alewife that shows up every day on the beach. And, it's people think, well, where the hell is that coming from? Well, it happens every spring, but it just so happens it happens in the spring when no one's going there on vacation. But it's so late this year that it's cutting into people are showing up on vacation, and they're looking at all these dead fish, and then 20, 30 feet of stringy algae past that they have to wait. They have to jump the fish and wade through the algae to get out to clean water. And the only reason you want to go out there is because then you're upwind and it doesn't smell so bad.
No. And on the topic of muskie, I didn't want to play the video, but there was a video being shared about a floating belly up muskie. And the comment from the angler was, at this time of year when the water temperatures are where they're at, people have to be very, aware that these water temperatures can be lethal. Now, whether this fish actually died because of that, who knows? But that's why I don't want to give it any more press than I already am. But at the end of the day, to that point, we talked about it last week, how warm our Great Lakes especially are getting. I'm sure it's no different than the inland lakes. So we do have to be wary of releasing fish and making sure that we're not getting them too deep, so that we have that opportunity to release them back into at least temporarily for the long term. Because at the end of the day, let's face it, these fish are what's managing our fisheries. So we got.
I was out on the Otto River last Friday, and it was 75 degrees in the bay.
75, eh?
Yeah, in the bay. Yeah.
Wow.
Just off the main channel. Oh,
incredible.
Incredible, eh? Incredible. Like it was 4 weeks late. Everything, the spawning was all delayed. Everything was delayed. Like, the season opened, they hadn't even spawned yet. Now it's 75.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what have you got upcoming this week?
We have more bunkies showing up, like I mentioned, at the center.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got a little bit of a road trip to take for a couple days, and we're still working on editing interstitials and rejuvenating the website. And so there's, I tell you, you hire these students, and you got to run, man, to keep ahead of them.
I tell you, and I don't even know how you keep it all straight, to be quite honest. With everything that's going on, there's a lot of moving parts in Bluefish Canada, Bluefish Radio. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Something falls off the table every so often, but you do the best you can, and we're all just do the best you can every day. That's all.
That is so cool. Steve's just sharing. He was up in Frontenac area and Lake Palmerston this past weekend. Surface temperatures were 78 degrees.
Incredible, eh?
And considering what a slow start it was to the summer season. We were a little concerned. Are we ever going to hit 30? Well, whatever worry we had has been surpassed and then some, because we've had weeks almost of 30+ degree weather. It has been downright steamy, to say the absolute least. So it's nice to see a little bit of a reprieve coming, for lakes that are up as high as they are, and of course for the fish that we are targeting. But yeah, I tell you, it changed very, very quickly. Water temps and our weather. Hopefully our fish can survive.
Yeah. It's pattern, like Dr. Sean Landsman was saying. You have these different patterns now, and it's not always linking up. When the fish spawn and when they hatch, and when the food they need, the plankton they need to survive, is no longer available because that came 4 weeks earlier or 4 weeks later. Everything's got to sort of line up, right? All the ducks have to line up for there to be a successful year spawn. And if you have 3, 4, 5 years of this in a row where it's mismatched, that's where you see the population start to collapse. And you don't see it the first year, not the second either, but eventually. And I think we're seeing that in the Ottawa, in the St. Lawrence River with pike. You see some big pike and big muskie, but as on the John Farrell from the Tibbs 1009 Research Station, you don't see the juvenile muskie and pike in the St. Lawrence River like you used to.
Interesting. Well, that is definitely alarming, definitely troubling, and hopefully we can change that in the coming years. Lawrence, as always, dude, I can't thank you enough for your time. We missed you last week. It was nice to have you back. And, of course, we really look forward, and I'll tell you, you admire the heck out of us for all the work that you do behind the scenes for the sake of our community, for the sake of our industry, and, of course, the sake of our beloved fish. Keep up the great work, my friend.
Hey, can I tell you one little ICAST story?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So I was able to be one of the, for the best in show during 2020. They did the media were allowed to do it remotely, and I got to do it remotely. So that was fun. But that's not the story. The story was about 12, 14 years ago. Berkeley came out with a talking fish scale. And not only did it talk, but it gave you sass, right? So like you weigh a 1.5 pound bass. It said,
remember that.
Do you remember that? It said,
no, I don't.
1.5 pounds. Your scale like mocked you, right? And they were demoing it at the Berkeley booth at ICAST. And I'm thinking, I want that. I want that scale, right? So I'm looking in the stores for it, and I can't find. So then I start reaching out to Berkeley, and I had a really good relationship with the Gulp people. And I tell you, they put on a manhunt for that scale for me. And in the end, they couldn't find it. There was only one made, and it was a sort of a mock-up scale. And in the end, I don't know if it even, if it was even, it was just smoke and mirrors or what. But in the end, it went right to the top, and everyone was opening closets and looking for that damn scale for me, and they couldn't find it.
Wow. That is a really cool story. I didn't know about that. This is the first time hearing it, but a scale that mocked you. Wow.
I've got one here from China, and if you can understand the accent, it's one thing. But then I take my weights out of the gym and I hang it on there, 5-pound weight, and it says, "Oh, it's 4 pounds 8 ounces. It's 5 pounds 3 ounces." It never gets it right. It's 5 times you weigh it, it's always a different weight. And I think, I'll put that back in the drawer.
That's hilarious. Very cool story. Thanks for sharing that, Lawrence. And of course, thanks for your time, bud. You have yourself a great week. We look forward to hearing what you're up to next Monday. Until then, dude, have yourself a fantastic week.
Thanks, buddy. You too. Thanks, everyone. And
Right
send some
on.
feedback on what do you think we get in those little learnings? What else would young people want to know about?
Great idea. Great idea. Will do. All right, we got Jay Barnucz coming up right after a word from his sponsor. Have yourself a great week, Lawrence. Thanks again.
The fear of failure is failure itself. The world of science rewards the ones who are willing to try and fail. Because without the courage to embrace failure, ideas remain ideas. But with that courage to fail and to learn, ideas can change the world.
You remember that scale that Lawrence was talking about?
No, I don't. I'm going to reach out to, I know a couple guys over at Berkeley in the head office. I'm going to reach out to them. That's cool.
Can you imagine having a scale that chirps you?
Well, dude, I do love trash talking. Like, there's definitely a need there's a few folks that could use a scale like that right now.
Well, I will say this, Steve. I'm thinking the same as you. I wish my bathroom scale would mock me. I'd like to think mine does. Like I literally hear it yell out, "Get off, get off."
It's true, man. I get it. I get that. Oh my God.
Man, that too funny. Obviously, you had a chance to look at some of the stuff that's being unveiled at ICAST. I'll play the video again just in case folks did not see it. The folks over at Tackle Warehouse did a fantastic job putting together the full-length video as well that goes into great detail of all the products. But here's a quick overview. So if there's anything that catches your attention, Jay, I'll let you talk about it. But have a listen.
That's 2025 Tackle Warehouse and Tactical Bassin, Tim and Matt. And in 3 minutes or less, this is the rundown. Make sure you head over to YouTube for our full-length breakdown of everything that Matt and Tim love at ICAST 2025. Jake, go!
All right, Daiwa Coastal 200, Daiwa Luvius spinning reel, Shimano Corrado 150, Mega Blast, Blowly, Nichols Dust Spoon 2.0, 8-inch trick shad, missile bait, eye roll jig, Freedom Flyer, and new planos.
All right, from Shimano, we have X-Sense, we have Sustain and Noski spinning reels. We have a brand new Corrado 150M. From VMC, the new Minnow Shaker jig heads. Pairs perfectly with new sizes of the Freeloader from Crush City. Great Lakes Finesse, brand new little craws and heads, perfectly fits with them. Duo, crazy looking new bait. Make sure you hear what Matt has to say all about that. Rapala, Claptail, crazy, and Big Bite Sensation, fuzzy little nub in there.
From 7 Reels, the new GX reel. We got new colors, Karashi and Giant Dog X. We got Yamamoto, Fuzzy Baits, the Fuzzy Nut, the Fuzzy Nuki, the Fuzzy Cinco, a couple different sizes, the Micro Juvie Craw from Great Lakes Finesse, and full tungsten from Dirty Jigs Tackle.
We got that Daiwa Aired 80, the Chatterbait Micro Max, the Swag LT swim baits from Yamamoto. We've got that Hinge Minnow, X-Zone. We've got the Rally Shad, the Fuzzy Bugs, the Uni, and last but not least, from Busby. Back to you.
That wraps it up. Make sure to go check out the full video on YouTube.
It's a great video, and if you look at the full length one, they go into great depth in regards to the products that they just spoke about.
Well, number one, if CFNers, if you're not following Tackle Warehouse on YouTube, other social media channels too, but I find YouTube is the best place to follow them. And also tactical bassin. Even if you're not a bass angler, the detail those guys go through, like, it's incredible. Actually, I'll tell you a story about tactical bassin and how much people love that show. One of Trevor's buddies, Nolan Isaac, and Nolan, shout out to Nolan Isaac, just won his junior tournament last weekend. So Nolan stayed over at our place. He stayed over a few times. Trevor and him are buds. And they crashed out in Trevor's room. He pulled the spare mattress in there, and it's just fishing mayhem in their brains and all around them. Trevor said the last time we went fishing with Nolan, he woke up during the night and Nolan had fallen asleep with his phone on the mattress on the floor, and tactical bassin was on. And Trevor woke up and he goes, and Trevor's like, all I could hear was, "Hey guys, Matt Allen from Tactical Bassin." And if anyone watches, listens, that is exactly what Matt Allen sounds like. I absolutely love that story about, and I know all of Trevor's friends listen to Tactical Bass. It's on our living room all the time, and they go into such great detail. Now, what's nice about those guys is they have some loyalty to some brands, but typically they give you a pretty unbiased opinion. Where their loyalty lies is with Tactical Warehouse, and so all of their information that they share in their videos is linked in the notes below. What's important about this is for anglers out there is I go to Tackle Warehouse all the time, but I don't buy from them all the time. I have before for some stuff that I can't find. But Tackle Warehouse, and this is key for CFNers, this is a great tip, I think. They have all the details on their website. So if you're going to buy a reel, a rod, a lure, I love the reel detail. Like they'll tell you, you click on, I did this the other day. I wanted to compare one of our Abu Garcia reels to one of our Fluger reels. And then of course, these reels, like all reels, Scotty, they're always getting improved, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to buy the latest model of the Fluger, and I wanted to know how to compare to the latest Abu of the similar size reel. And I use both Flugers and Abus, and I have great support from both companies. And dude, but I actually found more information about the reel when it comes to the ounces, gear retrieve, and like the inches per turn, all the specs. Tackle Warehouse has that on their website. It's amazing. And so I use it all the time for making decisions for buying tackle. So I can't recommend it enough. Tackle Warehouse, and the reviews they do is great. So of the show, though, let's go back to the ICAP show. There's a few things that stand out for me. Number one is big jump into glide baits this year. Glide baits have been really popular and becoming more popular. Now they're expensive though. Some of the original glide baits, this kind of comes into the whole, I think swim baits is the broader category and glide baits are like a subgenre of swim baits. But the trick to glide baits though is you do need a proper rod to throw them. I think they're a lot of fun. They can catch a lot of fish, but you might have to upgrade your tackle. But a lot of companies are coming out with swim bait rods. Jim made mention in the pre-show about, we're talking about inshore. So you're seeing a few anglers on the pro side, and I've done the same. I go to some of the inshore models. So because you might try and look at, wow, that inshore seems kind of beefy, but really that's the rod you want for the purpose that you need it for. Does that make sense? So, So step up your game a little bit by figuring out what rods and reels you need to match up with those new glide baits. The new dice baits, it's, Jim, we're joking before show, it's total overkill.
Yeah.
But they're available to us now, dude. Like before, even before I cast, you had to struggle to get them. Now, is it a game changer? Like we're talking like the Senko or the original chatterbait? I don't think so. But now we can have access to that kind of bait, right? More companies are making them.
I have to agree. And as I said during Jim's segment, this would not be what I would consider a confidence bait for me. I might have success with it, but I can't honestly say that I'm going to tie one of those on before a paddle tail of some sort. Like that's more my go-to. Where, as I said, they have to be catching fish or they wouldn't be hitting the industry like they are. To your point, there's too many too soon. And of course, what do you buy? You're always trying to match the hatch. What are they matching? What on earth? If for folks who can't see underwater to see, the larvae stage and the invertebrates that are available to fish, what on earth is that matching?
So I was actually listening to a podcast this week. I found a podcast about the science of bass, and it's some young guys. I think they might even be college students, and they're doing a podcast about bass. And they cited a paper, and I'll share the clip with you, and we'll save it for another show because I want to listen to the entire podcast. I haven't had time yet. But they talked about like what are bass feeding on, right? So you have prey fish, you have crayfish, and you have invertebrates. And in some of these systems, invertebrates, so macro invertebrates, so that's like the fancy term for big underwater insects, that's making up like the majority of the diet. Whether you're a young fish or an old fish, like those are easily available, more so than we think. That's the thing.
True enough.
And so I think that these dice baits are probably filling that niche a little bit, and they're just unique. Like they're just unique, and some of the ones, like, let's give credit where credit's due. Like some of the companies who have the dice baits who are very buoyant or almost float, like rigging that on a drop shot is going to be an incredible bait, I think, for the way it's being presented, right? So yeah, so.
I'm looking forward to trying them. As I said, it's not something that I would buy a whole whack of, but I'd be interested to try it simply for bass. But to Jim's point, some of the tubes that also have the tentacles, those I'd be looking at for walleye. But
no, I agree. Like I think there's nothing that really stood out to me at this show, but I think it's more about the trends where we're going. Now they did have an interesting kayak. So they had a jet-powered kayak. So a kayak, and okay, I'll be honest, like $2,700 US, it seems like a lot. But when you take a kayak and you go buy like one of the aftermarket motors, like those aftermarket motors are $1,000 easily. Like that's US. So now you have for $3,000 US, you have a kayak with basically a Sea-Doo motor inside.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious how it will do where I fish with kayaks, just because of the intake is screened. But dude, I fish some really nasty shit, so I'd be surprised how it does in those places. But yeah, I think it's great. I think that these kayaks coming outfitted with motors or ready to go, where you can pick the motor you want, whether it be a bow mount or a stern mount, or one that fits where your pedals go. I think what's important to remember for kayaks is, this is my own personal opinion, is everyone's going to like pedal drive away from paddle drive, and then motors are like kind of the new thing. I would never want to go without having a pedal drive available to me in the event of a breakdown. I can paddle, like ask my son, I can paddle better than most kids. I paddle for a living. I canoe at work regularly. But I will say, I don't want to paddle like Lake Erie for 5 miles in a kayak that's not really aerodynamic. Like these kayaks are big and bulky. I'd rather have a pedal drive because my legs are stronger. So it just makes more sense to have an option where I can have my pedals and my motor as whichever one I want to use. Right.
Well, so makes perfect sense. But
yeah.
It was a very unique introduction. I did take notice of that kayak. The price point was surprisingly reasonable for what that's surprisingly. I was actually
because you're looking at some of these kayaks now, Scotty. Like you're talking these like a Hobie is like Canadian. You're over $5,000 for a Hobie. Like that's before electronics, right? That's just the kayak itself. With now the pedal drive itself is worth quite a bit. Like it's pretty interesting technology. But man, it's so expensive. The other one that came out for kayaks is the big push for kayaks. The new Minn Kota Tarova has a kayak motor with spot lock, which is great. So it's plug and play. Old Town came out with their new kayaks, which have basically they're ready to go for a Minn Kota on the bow. And now Old Town is owned by Johnson, as is Minn Kota. So that makes a lot of sense to do it integrate that technology. The other one that impressed me was Garmin came out with their kayak motor, so it's a stern mount motor with spot lock. And you can get, now this is going to be something people may not realize. So with the Tarova, the Minn Kota Tarova kayak motor, you control it with iPilot just like we would in a boat. You got the remote around your neck, has a smaller downsized remote. It's great. And I've used them. I think it's fantastic. I think if you're going to fish a lot of large open water, having a trolling motor like that with iPilot makes sense. The Garmin one has a remote, so you can integrate with it with a smart device, like even a Garmin watch. But what's cool though is that it has foot pedals, and so the foot pedals in a kayak, and Scotty, you might have seen in kayaks the old school like 2 plastic pedals that you rest your feet on just to kind of like hold yourself in.
Yep.
So Garmin made foot pedals for their trolling motor that you can steer with it. So, and I saw photos of the kayaks spinning around at the test lake, because if you have one foot one way, one foot the other, the motor will just spin the whole thing around. It has spot lock and other functions built into the pedals. So you can steer with your trolling motor hands-free while you're fishing by just working your foot pedals, man.
Now that's skill.
Yeah. Now it's not a cheap motor. You're still talking a few grand. I think it's around 3,000 to 4,000 Canadian. Yeah. I saw some of the posts from Kyle Carruthers. I'm not knocking when I say these prices. I'm not saying anything bad about these. This is just what things cost now. But I think they really thought it through on the Garmin trolling. And I have no ties to Garmin or Minn Kota. I think the Minn Kota one is bulletproof. I've been using Tarovas for years, but I think that Garmin one really touched on some interesting technology. And this is all good news because Motor Guide had an XI3 kayak motor that came out a few years ago. Great little motor, but then Motor Guide went out of business, right? So I was kind of wondering where the kayak motors were going to go. There are Torqeedos and other stern mounts, but it's great to have these. I think to have these bow mount options as well. So that's cool.
Now, do you think it's going to get to a point, Jay, where you're going to need 2 motors on kayaks, or is it going to be just good enough having one?
Interesting you say that. So some of the kayak tournaments out there are banning 2 motors. You're allowed 1.
Interesting.
And you can't even have 2 on the kayak. Like it's like when you go out, you're only allowed to have 1 because someone might have 2 on there, then maybe not connect the battery or something. But it's I think, and why I think that's happening, because I was talking with Steve Owens, who's the tournament director for BASS, Bassmaster Kayak Series. This was last year in Oklahoma, and I talked to him. And what I recall from that conversation was basically the kayaks are not rated like a boat. Like there's a rating on them, but take it with a grain of salt. Let's be honest, right? Like, look, dude, I'm in a kayak. I'm standing in a kayak. And I know that I'm weight heavy on the front end of that kayak. I almost need a trolling motor on the back with a battery to kind of level my kayak out a little bit, to be honest. But these kayaks aren't rated, so by putting 2 motors on it, and now you're never going to double the speed because kayaks can only go so fast. You're just going to throw a bigger wake. Does that make sense? Like, but I think having 2 motors on there now you're just taking it too far. That's just my own.
I agree. I completely agree. Getting back to some of the new unveilings at ICAST, I was interested to see Jay mentioned this as well. The rollers, the bladed one. I think that's an ingenious step forward.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So Berkeley came out with those this week, and we'll talk about those in a future show. But remember, Berkeley doesn't go to ICAST anymore. They stepped away from ICAST.
Oh, right.
So they have their own center where they promote their own products now, right? They built this. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful, like, and I sent you the video about Mike Ballsy talking about ICAST and kind of the good and bad about it. And I think he's right on several points. I don't agree with him on every point, but I agree with him on several points. But yeah, so Berkeley doesn't do ICAST, but Smyrna Berkeley, like other companies, they brought out some new gear this week. They have some new crankbaits coming out. Yeah, they have some great new stuff coming out. It's cool. What was the other one that came out? Oh, speaking of scales, so yeah, so that's true, Marco. That's true. So I think though, and I don't disagree with that statement. People run the bow mount for control and stern for speed to spots, and I think that some of these original bow mounts are not really made for running all the time, and I wonder if they're going to wear out quicker. Does that make sense, Scotty?
Yeah,
like
100%.
the bow mounts aren't really made for just pulling a kayak around for 5 miles like all day long. But Marco, I have heard that some tournaments are not allowing 2 motors just because it's just the boats aren't rated properly, and there's some concern about that. So, but no, you make a great point that you if one over the other, like if I was going to pick one, I'd probably pick a bow mount because for more boat control. But getting around efficiently, the stern mounts are much more effective for just getting you to your spots. So yeah.
One of the points that Mike brings up in his video, of course, and there's a few of them, how ICAST isn't open to the public. Now, of course, you can get in, folks get passes from buddies and blah, 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 but it's traditionally not been open to the public. And I've always found that weird. I never understood that really.
Yeah, and it's really kind of interesting too, because I have a lot of, so I've heard ICAST is not that exciting. Like I've heard, Jim and I, we all have friends that go to ICAST every year, who work for companies who go there every year. And they go because they have to, it's their job. Now there's a lot of media there, so it's different. But for the average person to go, it's not that exciting from what I've been told. It's kind of like, unless you're a media person and you're there to film content, it's kind of a boring trade show. It's not like the Bassmaster Classic or there's a lot of hype around it. So I think you'd think it'd be better, but it's not. But it could be. And I think that's what the message was, and I think I love the point about let ICAST be what it is in terms of let new companies showcase their stuff. So, and charge it and let the public come in and see it. And so, because you pay a lot of money for the booth, and you might as well sell some stuff while you're there. They could do like a media day where it's like the first day is just media, then they could open it up. Yeah. But I think there's opportunities there to make some money. And even for big brands, like it's a huge cost, Scotty.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why some of the brands are scaling back. All brands have been scaling back the last few years on so many of these trade shows. We've seen it. It started with COVID for obvious reasons. And then since COVID, the trade shows, some of them have kind of just taken it, not a step back, but that sounds too bad. But you know what I'm saying, though. Like
they're not growing. They're not growing, and the whole idea is to grow it. And at the end of the day, I think ICAST, it would probably take a really big step in the right direction if they did open it up to the public. And the only other thing that I would be critical of, if anything, and I understand why they do it off season, is when it comes to the introduction of new baits. I think the springtime is like the best time to unveil some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I understand why they do it in the summer. It's off season, maybe a little bit cheaper when it comes to lodging and a few other things. Maybe there's not any availability to run it because there's so many other shows on. But
well, and your point there too is well taken, Scotty, because you have people who like, okay, I want that bait now, but we know that a lot of those baits won't be available to us until next season. Like, so at the earliest, we're going to see them maybe at the spring fishing show or the sportsman show. Like, to release these baits and products in general, like, I think that the companies need to be better at, like, we're in a society now where we want more instantaneous reward.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to put it out there, I want to buy it, right? I don't want to have to wait 6 months or 8 months. I want to get it now. I can use it tomorrow. Now, I don't expect it to be tomorrow, but saying we're going to put it out now and it's at least available by fall, that'd be great. But waiting 8 months, man, that sucks. But it's been like that forever. So maybe I'm just preaching to the choir here.
And maybe it's to our advantage for our shows that they do this when they do it, so that, like you said, the spring show becomes the unveiling and the availability of these new products. Steve, I don't want to dismiss. He brings up some great points when it comes to these fuzzy dice baits. certainly makes sense. I mean, obviously these appendages, they make subtle vibrations, which are attracting fish. I'm not saying anything against them. I'm just saying to be honest with you, if I was going to go out to a tackle store right now and I was only going to purchase one plastic, this isn't going to be it. But that's just me.
But I think, though, it really depends what you're targeting, right? Like, basically, I think that with the dice bait, you're only what's going to eat that? Probably just a bass. Like, some sort of ambush predator that's sitting there like, okay, I'm going to come out and eat this now, right? Like, Scotty, you want to go catch a walleye. I know you. So, like, I'm not going to buy a dice bait. If I'm going to go buy something to invest in long term and I'm a walleye guy, I'm probably not going to go buy a dice bait. My opinion.
You know what, Bill? What I'll do is I will try it, and I will see if the walleye like them.
Try it.
I'll try. I'll take them up to Horwood. I'll try them out.
That would be interesting, actually. That would be interesting to give it a shot up in Horwood.
I'm willing, and as I said, I'm like any angler. I'm willing to try anything once. It's just not something that I would choose. But you know what? For exactly this reason, I will make sure I bring some.
You know, like one of my favorite techniques for walleye is a drop shot. It's about the bottom snaggy. Like you put like a gulp leech or a gulp minnow on a drop shot. Man, I've caught lots of fish doing that. So just hook a dice on it. You could do a whole experiment, dude. You could have two of you in a boat, one with a dice bait and one with a proven bait, and see who catches them. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. A couple other products that came out. This one especially, I think for those who love to fish with frogs. Again, I'm not a big frog person. I make sure I have them in my tackle box, but I really liked this new product that came out. Have a look.
Whopper frogs? Are you freaking kidding me? Double spinning feet and flexible, and they're weighted. I got to see how these things actually swim. Look at that action. I mean, the feet spin on these things like crazy and completely weedless. They will come right through all that heavy trash. Look at that. And then you can just let them sit and then work them again. Look at how much water that bait actually moves. That's actually pretty incredible. All right, guys, these come in a 5-pack. They come in their own case. They're super cool little bait. I'm not going to lie. They got a lot of action to them, and they swim well. And the price on them is absolutely amazing.
I don't know what the price is, but if you guys are interested, I will get the link for you. But I just love the weedless aspect of those baits.
It's kind of neat. So there's been a bit of a push where there's companies now for a few years, and other companies are getting on board. So what they've done is, and that I'm going to get to this bait too, because I think this bait's an evolution of what I'm going to talk about. So you have the hollow bodied frog, right? You got the hollow body with the skirt, okay? And then for years you had the toad bait. So that's basically like a creature bait with two little flapping legs. But now the hollow bodied frog was great because you could work it and pause it and it would just stay there. And then you have the toad, which has the kicking legs, but if you stop the toad, it sinks. Now that's not always a bad thing, because sometimes if you work it over the pads, you let it sink, the fish comes out and grabs it when it falls. And then we started getting these hybrids, and Spro made this bait called a flapping frog, which is a hollow bodied frog with these little kicker legs. And other companies have come out with similar ones. So you could throw it out and reel it in, and it has a lot of action. And then you can pause it, right? Which is great. So you have that pausing nature like the hollow bodied frog. We have the kicking like the toad. That's how I tell the difference. I call them toads and frogs. Frogs are like hollow bodied floaters. And you kind of work them, whereas toads are like constant moving water. So this one's like a toad, but it's almost like a hard bodied toad, not a soft body. Like it looks like a harder body. I wonder how durable it is, man, because I'll tell you, I go through a lot of frogs because of bass and then, of course, bowfin and pike. And I wonder how durable that is. I'm curious what's attaching those hooks. I think it's a great design, combining like a whopper, plopper, chopo style feature to a frog. It clearly moves a lot of water. I'm very intrigued, but I'm wondering how that thing's built, because if it's not built well, I'm going to go through that box of 5 in about one day.
Yeah. There's been other frogs that when you retrieve them, their legs would extend, and that was very flimsy. I remember Pike just tearing those to smithereens. Not to mention, of course, you've had a toothy critter the minute your hollow body frog fills up with water. So yeah, as I said, durability is definitely something that.
And I'll tell you, man, like there used to be some of these frog baits over the years that some of the frog baits I throw are ones that can just stand up to the abuse. They may not have the best action, but damn, I'm going to tell you, man, like spending $10 to $15 on a frog and it getting destroyed on a fish or two, that's not worth it to me. Like I would, it's got to last. And I know that toothy critters can do a number, but some of them are much more durable than others. And I've learned over the years which ones can take it and which ones can't. Still, accidents happen, and crazy glue is always your friend.
Amen.
Trevor always asks me why I have crazy glue. I have a little Pelican case I keep all my fishing, like my wallet in and my phone. I always have crazy glue in there. Dude, I'm always fixing baits. Because one, I'm too lazy to retie. So I'm like, I'll just put some glue on there and re-glue it. And two, sometimes I'm on a hot bite and it's like, I love that bait. I'm not giving it up yet. I'll just glue it. I'll let it lay in the sun for a few minutes while I have a sandwich, and then I'll throw it right back out there again. So, yeah. So crazy glue can be your friend, but I'm not sure how much crazy glue is going to save those frogs. I don't think they're going to last, but prove me wrong.
I love it. We're going to take a bit of a pivot. Talking about stuff that's controversial and whatever is not really something that we love to engage in.
Oh, one last thing about iCast.
Yes, go ahead.
So all these Bubba scales are all the rave, right?
Yes.
And I did see that Bubba came out with a light version. So it's great. So Bubba came out with their first scale. It's a great scale. And then their pro version is like Bluetooth, has an app. It's like, but you're going from 150 to like 250 for the kit. They have a light version. It's going to be like $100. And so you're going to get into that. So it's a great scale. I think it's going to have the similar features of the other ones, with a few less, of course. But I think it's going to compete with some of those other higher end scales that are out there. But I think because once we started getting over $100 for a scale, that's where people started kind of going up, like for the average angler, like, ooh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
We want an accurate scale. So I think that Bubba coming out with their light version I think that one's going to be a popular buy this year. So that's my last.
Talk about a market ripe for the taking, eh? Like Bubba couldn't have come out at a better time with these scales.
Yeah.
Like brilliant marketing, brilliant idea. Good for you, Bubba.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that this weekend, Trevor goes to Georgia for the high school national championship. He may or may not have a new Bubba scale that might be that Dad bought, and I'll let my son use it to make sure his weights are accurate at the biggest high school bass tournament in the world. Is that fair? Is that a fair statement, Scotty? I'm not giving the kid a Bubba scale. That's not happening. That's like giving the kid a Camaro. That ain't happening. But I will let him use the scale at the tournament. It is the biggest high school bass tournament in the world. It's the World Series of high school bass fishing. So awesome. I think the kid needs a good scale for the tournament. What do you think?
Amen, brother. Amen. Yeah. I'm with you. So as I said, bit of a pivot. We want to talk about critical or controversial issues. But the reason I play this is simply one, to bring light that there's a phone that a number that you can call if in fact you are witnessing things that are illegal or not ethical when it comes to fish. Ron Arnold does these on a regular basis. I see a lot more hunting than I do fishing, but it tweaked my interest just because our tournament's up in Spanish, and I want you folks who are watching to sort of engage. Do you think the punishment fit the crime, or do you think it should have gone a little bit further? I'd love to hear what you guys think, but have a listen to this video.
It's Ron Arnold, Conservation Officer with the Ministry of Natural Resources, with your Friday conviction release update. Conservation officers are protecting fish from illegal angling. A male individual from Spanish Ontario pled guilty to fishing without a license and failing to produce things for inspection to a conservation officer. He was fined $1,230 and his fishing equipment was forfeited to the Crown. The courts heard that on September 14th of 2024, a conservation officer was conducting a marine patrol on the North Channel of Lake Huron and stopped a male who was angling in his boat. Despite stating he had not caught fish, the officer located 2 smallmouth bass on a stringer attached to the boat. Further to this, it was determined the angler did not have a valid fishing license. His fish and fishing equipment were seized. The case was heard in the Ontario Court of Justice in Elliott Lake, Ontario on November 13th of 2024. To report crimes to conservation officers, you can call the M&R Tips line at 1-877-847-7667. If you wish to remain anonymous, you can call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. Take care, everyone. Please ensure you follow the sport fishing regulations, which are designed for the conservation and protection of a species. See you all next Friday.
What do you think? Did the time meet the crime?
Yeah, so I know Ron very well. I've known Ron a long time, and he's in fact, when I'm out on the road, I always, as a courtesy, I always let COs know that I'm out and about, because if I'm out at a roadside stop somewhere and someone doesn't know it's me, meaning like agency working, and they see some dude in a river with a net, who's getting called first? COs. Yeah. So I try and let all the COs know what we're doing. Ron's usually on my distribution list, so I know Ron a long time. And I feel bad for Ron because he's always the one. Now, he does a great job. He is a great PR person for the COs. Like, I love what he does. He shares that information. Let's be honest, though. There's never a fine large enough for what we're seeing, because you can mess with, you can mess with a lot of things in my life, but like fishing is something that I'm passionate about. And if you mess with it, it makes me upset. And that's, I think I speak for a lot of anglers about that, where these are things that a lot of people don't have a lot of things good in their life, but they got fishing. And when they hear these stories, it really makes them mad. Don't mess with people's passions. That's kind of what I've always told. I think when I hear stories like this, it's a little frustrating, but then you got the big picture, though, with these fines. It never seems like enough. But, dude, you know, too, that if I got caught tomorrow with not having a valid insurance certificate for my car, it's probably going to be, like, even if they try to give me a big ticket, I could probably go to court and fight it, and it's going to go down to a small ticket. Especially if it's like, it's only happened once, right? First offense. I'm not giving up excuses for these anglers. There is no excuse for being ignorant of the laws and the rules. But, you know, the legal precedence has been set, and this is what it is. So, like, they still have to hire lawyers in some cases. Like, it's still going to cost them money. It costs us money too as taxpayers, because we have to take these to court. But yeah, so yeah, Bill, like $575, that's not the end of the world. Like, let's be honest. Like, that's I'm not saying I want to pay that, but that's not the end of the world. And we're talking car insurance over a couple of smallmouth bass on a stringer. Like, which one is society? I'm trying to take like the society picture here. Which one's society more concerned about? But what I do enjoy about all this is that I do enjoy hearing everyone's getting caught, and I do enjoy fines being laid. I think some things, I don't know, it frustrates me too about some of the images that COs get. These gentlemen and ladies, they work their tails off. Mm-hmm. They are in this, I'm going to tell you, they are in this line of work because they want to be. Their passion is there. They often don't get the support they want. And I'm not just talking from us as anglers. I'm talking from inside the organization. They're put in dangerous situations that not even police officers are put into. Like, you're talking remote locations with people with firearms. Like, this is crazy. But the COs do their job, even though they wish they're under-resourced and understaffed. But yeah, these fees would be nicer to see them go up, these fines, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I love hearing about it, man. I give Ron credit, and it's not just him, but because I know I'm sure he's getting encouraged to do this. But I love hearing about all the instances of people getting charged. It's important, man. It's good information for people out there, and we should all be sharing it, right?
Yeah, 100%. Bill, I'm with you. There's a fine line.
Yeah,
when it comes to ignorance
Yeah.
And downright lying. And to not have a license is one thing. And that's a penalty in itself. But the fact that he lied saying that he didn't have any fish and then it was later revealed that he did, that's the sticking point for me. You knew you were breaking the law. And does the penalty fit the crime? Well, I don't know what he was in terms of a boat and all of his gear, but let's just say, it was a 21-foot Ranger.
Yeah.
I'm not assuming that somebody without a license would be fishing in a boat like that, but let's just say it's a massive bass boat. Does the time fit the crime? I would have to say, yeah. If he's losing, something like that,
George's comments seems like an appropriate fine for fishing without a license and retaining fish. It does but he did lie. But I think this might be first offender kind of stuff too, where if it's your first offense, they might take it easy on you. Depends with justice of the pieces. I have friends in law enforcement, and boy, you get them on the wrong day. If the wind's blowing out of the east, you could have a rough day in court. So they're not as lenient as some of these people seem to be. They're not lenient as often as you think they are. So
100%. What's the score of the J game?
Dude, Jays are killing it.
Wow.
4-1. I will say, Scotty, I will say this. So so this year, Heather put up a Christmas tree. Actually, I bought this Christmas tree for Heather after Christmas as we had to replace our old tree. Okay. So, and we went with a fake tree because Heather enjoys having the tree up much. We did real trees for a number of years, and the tree is up earlier now, so we can enjoy Christmas longer, which I can't complain. That's a true statement. Anyways, so the tree's been up. Heather turned 50 in January, and I turned 50 last November. So she has the tree it's the year of Heather, and the Christmas tree is still up. And she's done an awesome job decorating this tree. She's decorated it. We've had, of course, we have a large collection of fishing ornaments, but she has gone out. We had St. Patrick's Day. If it's your birthday, the tree gets decorated in your honor. Father's Day, Mother's Day, and there's fishing stuff all over it, like pictures of us fishing. It's just constant. So, of course, there's Mother's Day, there's flowers and stuff. There's always a fish. There's always fish on there somewhere. I love it. Well, dude, she decorated it for the Jays. Because our good friend Megan Walter, shout out to Meegs. Meegs is one of my favorite diehard Jays fans. She's like, Heather, you got to do a Blue Jays tree. Well, she did. It is beautiful. It's a beautiful Blue Jays tree. All the swag we've got at games over the years, little flags, towels, it's all over this tree. It's beautiful. Dude, I told her she can't change the tree. I'm like, they're winning. As long as they're winning, the tree stays. That tree might stay till November. You have to, you can't all of a sudden, because it's Halloween. Trevor and I were like, we'll buy you a blue pumpkin to put on the tree. You're not changing the blue. The blue is staying on the tree. You cannot. So Heather's rethinking her plan on having a Blue Jays tree because we have railroaded her entire year of tree decorating. So there still will be fish on the tree for the year, but the Blue Jays, yeah, man, they are killing it right now. I can't believe it.
Okay, and I know we're supposed to be talking about fishing, but I have to say I share the same feeling. I sit back and go, this is the team that's undefeated at home. This is the team that's atop the American League. And no, I don't mean any disrespect to any of the players, but the players are all sort of unknown. Well,
here's the thing. They're top players. So Bichette's okay.
Yeah.
Guerrero hasn't, dude, he's not playing well at all. His stats are decent. They're above average, but he ain't no franchise player this year.
Agreed.
It's all the little guys at the bottom, which I love. I love all the little guys at the bottom, all the minor leaguers who came up. Thanks to Tosco. Mr. Second Place, you're still killing it out there, man. I know people making fun of you because you're Mr. Second Place this year, but you're killing it, dude. So and thanks for the compliment, dude. Cheers. I appreciate you. I love it. Dude, I love it when the no-name guys, when the underdogs are doing well, and it's their bottom of their order. They're scrappy. They're bunting. They're hitting runs. I love it.
It's truly awesome.
Yeah.
And folks, thanks so much for your comments. The comments that go along with the segments truly are the reason we do this. 100% right. Yeah. A pro forgot to renew his license. It's true. You don't receive a reminder in the mail anymore. I didn't realize. Yeah, that's right. You don't.
You got to check it. You have to check it yourself.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. So, I get it. We're never going to be happy because this is something that we care about so much. Like
100%.
so many of us in this world, we could care less about politics. We could care less about religion. We could care less about other things. Don't mess with my fishing. Like,
Amen.
that's how a lot of us think, and hunting. Let's put the two together.
Yep. Amen.
And there is no fine big enough. There is no fine big enough, man. We know this. We see it on people's faces. I feel when I read comments in Ron's videos, it makes me sad because I know Ron is doing his best. Like, I know that in his heart. And when people gang up on guys like Ron, it makes me so mad because I don't blame the COs, man. They are out there busting their butts. So
in dangerous situations, as you brought to light, because at the end of the day, I'm going to go back in the bush with a guy who could be hopped up on anything, but he's got a loaded gun.
Yeah.
I'd have to say I'd almost rather go cave diving than some of the work that these COs do.
Yeah, like the OPP have nothing on COs in certain situations. I'm sorry. Like, and don't forget, like the COs don't only recently got to carry like firearms. Like, honestly, like and all across time, like very, very, very recently were they able to do things that they can do now. Like, so shout out to the COs, man.
Amen.
I love them.
Well, shout out to you as well, Jay. We're going to leave you alone. We'll let you get back to the game and enjoy a bevy or two. I'm sure you're hard at work, and we're going to find out what you're doing at some point. But
hey, next week, if it works out, well, it will work out. We're going to make this work out. So we leave for Georgia on Friday.
Yeah.
So Trevor and Tristan, I'm driving them down. We've got it all figured out. We've hired a collegiate angler, so you have to have a captain, right? A coach captain for the high school team. So this gentleman, Jameson, who's a collegiate BASS angler in South Carolina. So Clarksville's on the South Carolina-Georgia border. Jameson's going to be down there with us, and we got a B&B booked. The girls may come down with us. We're not sure. There's a lot to be like. This is happening so fast. But next week, we're going to do this. We're going to either do this show or one night next week, live from Georgia, live from the BASS High School National Championship. There's another. Let me check the name. I don't want to get it wrong. I think it's Damien. Yeah, Damien. He's fishing by himself from Ontario. They couldn't get another partner for him. He lost his partner too. So I'm going to hook it up. So Damien gets on, Tristan and Trevor get on, and it'll probably be during their pre-fish period. So they're pre-fishing Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday's media day, registration day, and the tournament's Thursday, Friday. So.
Well, even if it's Wednesday, Jay, if it doesn't work out for Monday,
Wednesday might work too. So Wednesday might work because that's their registration day, and tournament is the next morning. So that's probably a good time to do it. So if they fit 250 boats, if they finish in the top 25, they get to fish on the Saturday. So, and dude, I'm just going to be cooking. Dude, I'm going to be getting them up every morning. This is just like Oklahoma all over again, waking those boys up. Trevor's like, it's bass boot camp with dad all over again. Like those two boys are going to be exhausted, but this is such an opportunity for them. They're not missing a moment. I'm going to make sure of it. Even if it kills me, I'm going to make sure of it. Boy. So we'll be doing some updates. Follow Trevor's social media, follow my social media. We're going to have some fun with this, and we'll see you guys, if not next Monday, maybe 2 days next week. We'll see. All right.
God bless you. God bless you, Jay.
Thanks, Scotty.
We appreciate you in ways that we can't even show. I'll tell you that.
I appreciate all you guys too. And Lawrence, if you want to talk about muscles, I'm always available. I'm the new muscle biologist.
Yeah, baby.
All right. See you, buddy.
All the best, Jay. Oh, I'll tell you, what another great show. Thanks so much for all of you for joining. And of course, our panel, what they bring to our community and our Monday Night Lives. I could never properly thank them for any of that. For those like yourself who are watching and have left comments and participated, interacted, and help out in ways, again, that we don't necessarily see. Maybe it's behind the scenes, pointing people in the right direction. all of the advice that you give as anglers and stewards of the resource. Again, my hat's off to all of you. Have yourselves a great week. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. Love you all. And we will see you next Monday, because Wednesday is not going to happen. I'm on my way to Long Lac for the NOWT Championship. Looking forward to it. It's a heck of a drive, but it's going to be well worth it because I love the people that the NOWT brings together. So I'm really looking forward to that. In the meantime, have yourselves a fantastic week. We will catch back up next Monday. We'll see you then. All the best. Peace.
Well, as much as I hate to admit it, I guess we've run out of time. So I've enjoyed it, but I'm going to do something I haven't done since season 1. Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end.